Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Black Tea. I'm your host, Michelle Lawrence, and I'm here today with Karen Baker. Hey, Karen.
Hey everybody, hi Michelle.
Hi. Please tell people what you do and where you're based.
Hi, I'm Karen Baker. I'm excited to be part of this show. I am a marketing and communications, I would say, senior executive. I've been in this for 25 years, loving what I do. Design is a big part of what I do, and social impact is a big passion of mine and how we drive business here at Boathouse Group Inc. And I'm the president, located in the Washington metropolitan area.
Okay. Washington, Seattle, Washington, West Coast Washington, or Washington, D.C., Washington?
Okay, I think we are Washington, D.C. metropolitan area.
Oh, okay. Okay. The
Yeah.
DMV. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how did you get into advertising in the first place? And furthermore, how did you find yourself starting a marketing company?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I really fell into advertising and marketing as a whole. Had the opportunity for a position at Black Entertainment Television, BET,
Okay.
in a marketing department. And really from there, learned really what marketing was. I was coming from an event production background into the space and just really loved it, and they continued on a career now for 25 years of being in the industry as well. So it has been not only passionate, but I knew that I wanted to own my own as well, and going in there as a contractor and a consultant really was pivotal by using, a name of that caliber
Yeah.
and launching a company. So I launched my company and leaving BET and was in business for 23 years until I came to Boathouse and now we're heading into 26 years.
Wait, 26 years since the founding of Boathouse?
Boathouse is now 24. Yeah, it's
Oh,
24 year.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations. That is
Thank
quite a
you.
feat. So that's amazing, first of all. And what was that? So you said you just kind of knew already starting out that you wanted to own your own. Is that just because, like, okay, there's an affinity for like just self-autonomy and wanting to
Mm.
be able to move how you want to move? Or was there a specific instance or moment in time or realization that you had that's like, okay, that's why I need to have my own place?
Yeah, that's another great question because I started, my business when I was almost 24 years old. So I was young
Yeah.
when I started. And I always knew that I wanted to own my own. Didn't know what, but I was like, I just had this entrepreneurial mindset that I knew that whatever I did, I wanted to lead it. I wanted to own it, I wanted to see it be successful with my hands in it in that particular way. So starting at 24 years old in the 90s business, there was no model for me. There were no friends around me who had been in business for themselves. So, there was a lot of ups and downs, but I think that's part of the foundation of what made me stronger as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. So okay, you're not only a business owner, a founder, a president, but you are a Black woman doing all of that. And I'm wondering how your unique POV as a Black woman has influenced just the way you approach marketing, the way you approach this work in a predominantly white industry.
Yeah, often you're the only one in the room, right? Often you're the only one with that level of a title as well coming into a room. I think the POV is that you always have community in mind, at least I do, and I'm always thinking about the conversations, whether it's from the beginning of the idea to how it's executed. Is it leaving, particular communities of color out of the conversation? Is it leaving them out of the perspective of what they will see coming across whatever platform you choose? Is a narrative realistic? And what we're talking about, that is important to me. And it's also important to me who's at that table,
Yeah.
that we have a diverse table of thought, experience, culture. If it's not, I'm going to say something about it because I think it's important. It's necessary. When people talk about innovation, you can't innovate when everybody looks the same, So those things it really is a part of it. It's who I am, but I think it's required as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. More of the same is going to produce more of the same, right?
More of the same.
That
Yep.
makes a lot of sense. Okay, speaking of innovation and design, what does the phrase design practice mean to you? And then how do you bring that into advertising?
Yeah, design practice is really from the beginning to end. A lot of times when people hear design, they think of the aesthetics end of it,
Mm,
what the user only sees, but design is system as well. So it's from the ideation, through the planning, implementation, and execution. It's the whole entire process. That's what design practice is. Now,
okay.
there are phases in which people touch the design. But when you come into the practice from that lens, you're looking at the entire system, the entire ecosystem, and how the design is going to influence all stages and phases of that. And that's a longer process. That's a longer process than just coming in a month before and saying, we want something to look good. So that's why I'm a believer, even those who are on the aesthetic end or the user end, that they be part of that conversation from the beginning. I think it helps them design differently.
Yeah, 100%. So it's really about like the mindfulness really of the approach to
Yeah,
every decision and being intentional about what it is that you set out to do from jump.
co-
I love that. And
correct.
that coupled together with like, being adamant about having the right people at the table when
Mhm.
you're making those decisions, I can just see that leading to some really great work.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
so speaking of that, is there a project or a career achievement that you are most proud of?
So we'll start with number one. It's one that since I've been at Boathouse is the work project we worked on with American Diabetes Association.
Hmm.
The goal was to deal with type 2 because a lot of conversation and well, let's say advertising and marketing goes around type 1.
Mhm.
So how are we going to move the conversation, move people into education, move people into action around their own health who were type 2, people living with type 2 diabetes. And the focus was Black and Brown communities for the messaging. And we had to go back and really look at the messaging and what was being said. And, doing research like talking to focus, having focus groups, talking to people who are living with the disease, talking to them about why they haven't told their families. Quite a few people hadn't told their
Hmm.
families and have been living with it for decades.
Hmm.
And then we have people who said, I'm never going to tell anyone that I'm living with this. So that for us was why. We kept asking the question, why, and not necessarily to them. We needed to hear their emotion. We need to be a listener on that. But when we walked away to why, we decided the narrative needed to shift
Yeah.
around what was being said in these communities or what was going to make it so that they decided they would step up and get the more education or that their physicians would also give them more attention in the care. So
Mhm.
out of that one, I'm very proud of what came out of that one and the fact that we were able to make a difference with that particular campaign. And then I'd say the second one was the work that I was doing with excuse me, Think Local First, which is an organization in Washington, D.C. that serves local independent businesses. And I was with them. They were my client for 4 years. And so we did a lot of work. But moving the needle during COVID was really important because we had a lot of small businesses. COVID happened, everybody was panicking. No one knew how long they were going to be open and closed. And we were able to spend time making sure they got the financial resources that were going through the federal government at that time, talking to people, having relationships, getting the money they needed to keep their doors open. So that's something else I'm very proud of as well.
That's beautiful. And being in the DMV, and is that where is that where Boathouse is also headquartered?
The headquarters is in Boston, and then I serve the Washington, D.C. area. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say being in the Washington, D.C. area, is political advertising anything for y'all? Is that something you try to avoid? Is that something that I mean, I would imagine you're surrounded by it. It's kind of hard
Yeah.
to stay separate. Is that something you want to get into or something you do not want to get into?
No, policy is over the last 3 years has been something I want to get into.
Okay.
Because recognizing that it touches and affects everything.
Mm-hmm.
Being in Washington, D.C., you're surrounded by, like you're saying, and sometimes you can forget how much it influences everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it influences, just the work that we do. Because I run a social impact practice of the business, it's
Okay.
always involved, engaged. We
Yeah.
have to always think about it. We have to always be on the pulse of it.
Mhm.
We have to also know what's happening, and what policies are coming about because they influence our clients,
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So when you're about social issues, political issues, social causes, public policy is a big part of it. So no, it's definitely something that we have been really getting into, particularly in the last year.
Okay, I love that. I feel like, would you ever run for office?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking. I mean, look,
Oh
you're
no,
out
I
here doing
appreciate
it. So I feel like more
the
people who aren't like politicians need to start like, but like,
Very true.
you know what I mean?
Very true.
Not more like reality TV stars or whatever, but like
Correct.
people who are civically minded and care about like, okay, doing the right thing for people, should do it. So
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great thought, you know. I mean, not that it hasn't crossed my mind, I'm gonna be honest, because of
something local,
being,
something local.
yeah, just because you want to make it, like you say, you want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And people that are on that line fighting every day, you learn more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that you are into weaving, but tell me, are we talking about hair? Are we talking about yarn?
Talking about yarn.
Okay, we're talking about yarn. Okay. So then, because at least I had like, fork in the road follow-up question for each one. So I just needed to know which way I was gonna go. So okay, yarn. So then what type of stuff do you weave? And what's your favorite thing that you've made, your favorite creation?
Yeah, so the things I weave are mainly rugs, is what I read. So larger scale things of what I weave as well. And so I think my first piece was the one that still stays very dear to me. I actually did a yoga mat, a woven yoga mat, that nobody's feet will touch, but that's what it was for. And just to be able to accomplish that, because it takes time. If anybody ever have done weaving before or put their hands on a loom. It's extremely time consuming, very math driven, requires a lot of patience as
Okay.
well. And it has taught me that too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know there was math involved.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm out. Then you lost me. No. Do you still have it? Do you still have your woven yoga mat?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. Do
Yeah.
you make things to sell or you just make them for your own personal pleasure in your house, decoration type thing?
No, I've made them not necessarily to sell, but some of them I've given away. I do like giving some of it away, I'll be honest. Really it's just a joy of making things and seeing people receive it and feel cherished by it or special by it. But I have things that have gone in galleries as well to Art Basel. I've done a couple times as well. And
Okay,
so
way to bury the lead. Hold on. Okay, so you're exhibiting these rugs and you've been
Yeah, I'm
facing.
exhibiting them.
Okay. For sure. Yes, we need to put that on display. I love that for you. And now I'm going to do some weaving, but there is I feel like there's a connection between what you're doing with
Yeah,
just putting so much heart and soul and time into beautiful things that you and seeing how you mentioned seeing how people react to it or how
yeah,
cherished they feel when they feel it. I feel like
yeah.
that's also a thread in your marketing work in getting to and speaking to communities authentically so they feel seen and cherished in the work that you create there. So full
Yeah.
circle.
And thank you for doing that because I don't know, I've separated them so,
Yeah,
a lot of times, because the making side and then I do view marketing communications as a creative. So I
yes,
mean make
of
sure
course.
that's very clear. But thank you for that, for
Yeah,
showing that connection between the two of the work and probably why I'm so drawn to it as well.
yeah, I'm ready to run your campaign. I feel like I feel like
You
we
sound
got
like you'd be good to run my campaign.
I feel like we got all the pieces coming together. But no, I mean, I think yes, that's something political advertising for me has always been interesting, but not anything that I've ever worked at a place where they wanted to get into it or like,
Yeah,
kind of put those types of stakes in the ground.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's, I wouldn't be opposed if it was for a good cause.
Okay. All righty.
All right, well, you let me
Got you on the list.
know.
Got you on the list.
Karen Baker for the people. No, okay. Well, Karen, it's been so nice to get to know you and to talk to you. I thank you so much for coming on Black Tea. I appreciate having you here.
Yes, I appreciate you having this show.
Oh,
Kudos for that.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
And to everybody out there, thank you for watching this episode and appreciating this show as well. Please go to musebycleo.com/black tea to find the other episodes and get caught up. And we will see y'all in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.